All right, linear inequalities. Linear means it's going to form a line, and an inequality has greater than, less than symbol in it. So it will form a line, and it has one of our symbols in it. A solution to an inequality is a coordinate that works in the inequality. Okay, any coordinate that works in the inequality. So looking at the first one, it gives you a point to check. So if you want to check a point, you put the 3 in for the x and the 6 in for the y, and you do the math to see if it turns out to be true. 2/3 times 3 is 2, plus 4 is 6. Is 6 less than or equal to 6? Yes. So is this a solution? Yes. Now looking at the next part, this is just showing you that when we graph these, of course, if you remember graphing y equals mx plus b, we graph them, and then for some of these that are greater than or less than, we are going to have a dashed line. For others that are greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, we're going to have a solid line. And that's probably one of the things that I forgot most when I was learning how to do these, so we want to try and keep that fresh in our minds so we don't forget that. All right, so graphing, if it is solved for y, easy to graph. Slope is 1/2, y-intercept is 1. So we go up 1, put a dot for our y-intercept. Slope, rise 1, run 2. There's our 2 dots to make our line, so we're going to draw our line. Now, before I draw the line, I have to think to myself, am I drawing a solid line or a dashed line? Well, if it's less than or equal to, it's going to be a solid line. Equal to is going to create a solid line. Now, there's going to be one other part to this. Besides remembering to make a dashed line or a solid line, we're also going to be shading. Now, the way I always did this was y is less than. Less than to me is below. So if I put my pencil on the line and I go down, that's the area that I want to shade, because any point in that area is going to work in this inequality. Every single coordinate down in here, if I put it in here and check it, it will work. All right. Next, what if I have the inequality x is less than -5? Well, if you remember, this was one of those special cases that is going to not have a slant to it because it doesn't have both x and y. So it's either going to be a horizontal or a vertical line. Well, this is telling us we're crossing the x-axis at -5. We're not going to touch the y-axis, so that means it's going to be a vertical line. It is not equal to, it is just less than, so therefore it's going to be a dashed vertical line. And then less than, well, numbers less than -5, these numbers are larger than -5, so less than would be these numbers if you think about greater than and less than. Okay, numbers less than -5, anything over in here is less than -5. Y, same idea. Y doesn't have x and y. It's not going to be a slanted line. So y equals 2. So we cross the y-axis at 2. It is equal to this time. It's greater than or equal to, so we have a solid line. And then we have to figure out where to shade for this. Well, greater than, numbers greater than 2 would be 3, 4, so anything up in here. So we have to remember to shade on one side of the line or the other. All right, and then I have one more where we're going backwards. Here we have the picture, and we need to figure out what the inequality is. And it might be hard to see, but this side is actually a little bit darker. So this is our shaded side, if we're looking for which side's shaded. So solid line, so it's going to be either greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. We are below that line. If I put my pencil on the line, below it is where it's shaded. So I actually want less than or equal to because I want points less than or below the line. So now we need our mx plus b. We need our m and our b. So less than or equal to because it's below the line, less than because it's below the line, equal to because it's a solid line. Slope, let's see if we can get 2 points on here to find the slope. Okay, it looks like rise 2, run 1. So 2 over 1 or 2, positive because it's going uphill. And then the y-intercept is right here, and that looks like it's up 1, so plus 1. So this would be the inequality that would produce this equation.